Peanut butter, man.
Hello, and welcome back to the Gamer's Tale. This is the first episode of our fourth season. Seasons are about 10 to 15 episodes long, so you can guess how many we've had. It's been a while since we've been on, and I'm glad you've all returned, if you returned at all. Tonight we're going to be talking about player versus player games, why we like them so much, and just what we're expecting of the upcoming and what we would ideally want to see in a player versus player game. So it's time for the meta game. I am once again joined by Lee the Tech Priest, and I haven't come up with a nickname for Nathan yet. So you had other people's nicknames. Nathan's left out, Nicole. Obviously, there is a predominance in online gaming of player versus player. We're not going to be touching stuff that is so close to my heart like War Thunder or World of Warships because Nathan says he thought of one himself. Let's see what it is. Anyway, the whole vehicle combat is not going to be touched on unless it's as an additional thing for the gameplay. So we're mostly arena games, first-person shooters, and similar. So unfortunately, War Thunder is going to be shelved for today. But at least it has an honorable mention. So what's been in the news recently is, of course, the next Call of Duty game is going to be set in World War II, so we're going to get back to classical things like that, and Battlegrounds, or PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, and H1Z1 have been taking up most of my time in stream viewing. So I would like to direct, which of you wishes to go first?
Nathan can start.
Oh gosh.
Well, the reason why he's here is because he plays League of Legends, and that was rated one of the top player versus player games. So
By
that's
people whose opinions don't matter.
Well, that's most people.
I do really enjoy the Met game. I feel like it's going in a bad direction now, though.
I thought it was always going in a bad direction.
When I first started playing, it was a lot of fun. It's still a lot of fun. I just don't have time, really.
You mean you don't have the time for an unpaid part-time job to be even semi-competitive?
Wait, what are you talking about?
League of Legends?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Nah, I play to enjoy. I don't play to get to whatever platinum.
Well, I thought you played for Salt, Nathan.
That too. Well, thankfully I've been introduced to the world of Fistful of Frags. I can get all my salt out there.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm having freemium flashbacks as I'm grinding through World of Warships right now. Sorry. I'm just gonna go sit in my corner and think about what I've done wrong.
Anyway, so tell us about games like League of Legends, Nathan. What gets your blood pumping for what reason?
Player kills? No.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like when it comes to League of Legends, when you have a good team and you have plenty of communication and people know what they're doing, it's a lot of fun. Team play is definitely one of my favorite aspects of it. And that's probably one of the other reasons I don't play it much anymore is because I don't have a circle of friends that plays it. So I generally play whatever my friends play so that I can enjoy it more because nobody likes playing online alone.
I might enjoy playing alone a lot of the time, but yeah, you tried to convert me to League of Legends a few months ago. I was like, nah, I ain't dealing with that.
I think you would really enjoy it. The community's super salty.
He doesn't mean that. He's saying that in an attempt to make you hate yourself.
I was gonna say, I'm sorry, we already have some. We don't want any. Come back later. Or make a Jehovah's Witness joke. I don't know which is worse.
Why not both?
Anyway, So, if you haven't gathered, Nathan and I have at least been playing a lot of Fistful of Frags, which is a cowboy first-person shooter. It's rough, it's tumbly, and it's totally available for me to be able to play and binge it for free and not have to have my computers die because they're not giant workhorses like everyone else seems to be able to afford. That's why I love it. It's also a tremendous pain in my ass at some points, but obviously you should join us, Lee. You can be salty with us.
You've heard my rants on.
For those who have ever played on the old Half-Life engines, I think they would really enjoy it.
Oh, is it Half-Life engine?
It's a Half-Life engine. It's actually I was never a huge fan of it. This is the first game that was the first game I've ever really played that I enjoyed how like it worked, you know.
For about 6 years there, it seemed like half of the indie titles were Half-Life engine, and they were either phenomenal or so much pain to play that they made you cry on the inside. I played quite a few of the like zombie ripoffs when not H1Z1, not The Walking Dead, Left 4 Dead first came out, and everybody was skinning that to put on Steam and, make a quick buck.
Oh, yes. The most recent skin I saw for that was they overlaid Scooby-Doo onto it, and it was full of puns.
Not okay. Not okay at all.
I know, and if you watch the previous episodes, you see I accidentally put a Scooby-Doo pun, or at least a dog pun, when we mentioned it last. And off screen, you can almost hear Lee seethe about that. And it was totally unplanned. But really, going on to the team aspect of player killing, a lot of it for me, kind of like what we talked about when we were talking more about RPGs, is the messing around with friends, because whatever group we're in, it's not said, but there's a rivalry, and I'm the best. But yeah.
I'm not sure what you're talking about, Trent.
Exactly. But yeah, like Nathan said, most people play video games to hang out with their friends, and a lot of that seems to revolve around killing other people and their friends, online at least. We hope.
Yeah. Not in real life. That's murder. That or you go back to the multiplayer version or multiplayer game and the game or the movie Gamer.
Oh.
I don't think I've seen that one, but of course, as everyone knows who watches this, I live under a rock, and sometimes that's a good thing.
Yet somehow you're able to start a podcast about things that you yourself have never really experienced about before.
There's an interesting story.
That's why he has us.
That's exactly the reason.
That's true.
He's just here to make shitty jokes and puns.
I am technically just the overseer of this whole crap show. I bring people in so that they fight to the death, in air quotes, while I do things in the background and drink pop.
Are we going Thunderdome or more like Joker recruiting?
I am very similar.
Now it's time for tryouts.
I'm going to make
this a horrible Joker. Never do that ever again.
Shut up.
Anyways, back on subject.
You know how I got these scars. Anyway, yeah. We probably covered this before, but what do you expect the barest minimum from your colleagues when you go on the warpath in video games for player killing? The barest minimum.
For me, it's always pushing the objective. If there's an objective in the game, some people like to focus more on kills, and that's like in my mind. If you want to focus on kills, go play Call of Duty. So getting lots of kills is nice, but that's...
Well, for me, the kills are usually just secondary. If I want to go, I usually just play the ones where you just get to kill a bunch of people in Fistful of Frags, because it's the easiest thing, and I play for fun. When we play stuff like 2142 for Battlefield, I will push the objectives, and I will sit and defend a spot, and I will have experiences like I had a few weeks ago where I accidentally got team killed and then revived and created a bomb with some guy. Switch to the other team, go back, and you have to kill him. So there's that. What? Come on, man.
But for me, it's not necessarily playing the objective so much as communication. Like, cool, you want to go off and kill. By all means, camp their spawn. It means the rest of us can get to the objective easier. Just communicating what the plan is, what you're doing, and if I communicate that, hey guys, I'm all by myself over here, I could use some backup. Like, please back me up. I promise, I'm a good teammate. I won't shoot you in the back of the face. Like, please.
Well, the only problem with that is that usually when I'm communicating, or if I need assistance, I'm usually dead by the end of the time I ask for assistance. And it's like,
one of the biggest problems I have with video games. It's like, when it comes to communication, it's like in the heat of the moment, it's like, what needs to be said, but you can't get it out quick enough to be like, survive. And so that's why I'll never volunteer for any kind of military.
yeah.
That's funny, actually, because now that I think about it, communication, especially in like a competitive context, is something I'm just used to. Because I've been playing competitive for such a long time, like, I think it's just one of those things that once you get over it, you're good.
This is also one of the reasons why I learned how to three-shot someone with one of the crappiest pistols in Fistful of Frags and walk away after they surprise me. Nathan knows what I'm talking about.
I do.
Did you get taken out by a shitty gun, Nathan? Do you need a hug?
No. The worst part I feel in that game is when I get taken out by his bow, and that's about it.
Yeah. So it was for a time. Each time we got into a match together on opposite sides, it always seemed like the first kill was against each other. And twice he ambushed me with a knife, and twice I walked away and he didn't. Oh, man. But then
granted, this was when I first started playing the darn game and really didn't have a chance to get somebody who was a little more seasoned. I came from a more smooth, streamlined first-person shooter. And then, coming over to the Half-Life engine, which is, to me, blocky. Or not blocky. What's the word for it? It's different.
It's a little more twitchy and a little less refined in movement.
Yeah, it's very, like, I can't explain it. Like, you feel like you're just this camera floating, whereas most video games or first-person shooters nowadays provide like a kind of bounce to make it feel like you're actually moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no wonder I'm so good, because all my games that I have at home are like that, because they're PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 games. So they all kind of have that floaty feel, except for SOCOM Combined Assault. That gives a nice little bounce to it. And it's also one of the games that brought to me a very, very putrid hate of fully automatic weapons, especially at close range. Apparently, Lee is having some sort of heart attack.
No, my cat decided she needed to tell you were stupid. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard was a cat.
Well, I don't know if it's wrong or not, but anyway. But yeah. However, I do like fully automatic weapons in 2142. and have somehow there's this weird thing I find in online video games where it's player versus player. I either die incredibly easily with full health, or am nearly invincible with the lowest amount of health possible for me to receive. And I don't know why. Have any of you experienced that? Anyone? At all?
Nathan, go ahead, man.
I'm having trouble understanding the question.
There seems to be a weird twitch in online gaming where either you have very low health and get a lot of kill streaks, or you have full health, get one kill, and then immediately taken out. But for some reason, having low health grants you a magical barrier that somehow makes it all okay.
Yeah, so that's what. Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying now, and I was thinking of that, but wasn't registering. I have noticed that. Like, I was in a match earlier today where I had a sharps, and I was at 2 health, which is out of 100, and I got a 5 kill streak with it before I was, stumbled upon. Of course, which wasn't my fault. One of my teammates decided to bring all the enemies to me because he was trying to run. Gotta love him.
Oh yeah, and with a single shot rifle, that's fantastic.
What isn't that what teammates are good for? No,
Oh yeah, if you have a bunch of shots and you can just ping them all off, yeah, it's great for them to bring people for you to kill.
No, and honestly, I've noticed I take less dumb risks when I'm at low health. Especially, so right now I'm grinding through on World of Warships, one of the biggest headache ships in the American cruiser line, because it's made of Citadel that takes 17 times damage, and the last game I played before I got on and had to rage quit, I took a single shell midships as I'm in the middle of a turn and blew up. Opening salvo of the game, and I'm dead. As long as I don't, if it had been half of my health, I would have spent the rest of the game playing very conservatively, taking my shots, watching angles, and I've noticed that across all games. Like the minute I'm nearly dead, I slow down and I stop doing dumb stuff.
Yeah, I feel the same because it gives you the sense of it seems more realistic, so you treat it realistically. In all the Battlefield games, or no, not Battlefield games, the newer ones like Battlefield 3, they have a hardcore mode, and in hardcore mode you die super quick. And I always feel that I was better in hardcore mode than I was in the normal mode, where you have 100% health, and then after you get out of a fight, it recharges or whatever. You have a medic heal you or whatever. It's you take it for granted, I guess you could say.
I played Battlefield Hardcore 4 competitively for a really long time, and it was really strange. Like, if I put it down for a little bit and came back to something, I went to something else and then came back to it, you're immediately like, oh my god, I'm so fragile. Like, don't look around the corner, just blind fire because I'm gonna die.
Yeah. I always find when I've been away from a game for a long time, I suck for a half hour, and then I get back to the regular level of suckage, and it's like, okay, I got my skills back. I'm good. I'm no longer at the noob level for some reason. Yeah. But what you were talking about do you have something relevant? Because I was going to move on to a different point, Nathan.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
All right. So one of the things, all of us here at least have a moderate interest in firearms and their application outside of video games. One of the things that has been annoying me recently for newer games for Player Unknown's Battlegrounds and games like Rainbow Six Siege is that all these gamers are like using these scopes and forgetting that the gun sits like 3 to 4 inches below the scope, and they're like just shooting into the wall. It's like, why am I not hitting anything?
Well, and then getting into it was one of kind of my favorite silly things from Battlefield was the bullets came out of the middle of your chest and not the end of your barrel. So you could do some like really random like, oh hey, I can't see him, but my bullets came out just fine. So it's totally good.
My chest cannon. Okay, that is weird. I'm at least glad that they have improved.
What game was that?
Battlefield 4, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh, I never played it.
Do you want to?
No, not really. I heard it was terrible.
4 was probably my favorite in the franchise.
I'd have to say World War II or like 1942, and then Battlefield 2 and 3 and all its DLCs.
4 is just 3 refined a little bit. Launch was a little bit of a mess, but hey, honestly, I think Battlefields just get better with time as they patch and fix and all of that.
Speaking of Battlefield, and its at least its recent incarnation, which has been taking us by storm.
You should be ashamed.
I am shameless. I'm like the cat. Anyway, but the whole gaming system is like everyone's all hepped up about it, and we've talked about it probably the most for everything on this. It comes up at least once in a time, and now going back to in history with Call of Duty, how much do you expect them to have stolen conceptually from Battlefield 1?
They'll probably just draw from all their old stuff, honestly. And from their new, they're probably going to have. I heard a rumor of a German secret weapon. It was like a jetpack or something. So, as my friend LJ would say, you're going to have people bouncing around in World War II too, as well. So it's like it's going to be Call of Duty Black Ops. This is coming from him. Call of Duty Black Ops, but in World War II. And he says it's going to be super stupid.
Well, some of the things that I've heard is that they were not including the wall jumps anymore, and that it conceptually seems like they're going to be going back to the roots that they had. So, for me, the only reference I have is Medal of Honor. So, for me, that's Medal of Honor or World at War. It's pretty much just a better graphical game of something that we had 10 years ago.
The issue is, I think they're going to have a hard time maintaining the complexity that we've come to enjoy with modern shooters in a World War II setting.
Personally, I'm glad they're going back because I'm just kind of sick of all the modern stuff. World War II is my favorite era. I mean, I just got done watching Hacksaw Ridge, but as far as the fight sequences and the weapons, I just feel like it was simpler. It was just more. I don't know what the word for it is.
Gritty.
Say that again.
Gritty,
yeah.
The issue is, I think in a lot of ways, the gameplay. I played Red Orchestra 2 Rising Storm quite a bit. The bolt gun, low capacity, slow shot-to-shot recovery times really does impact gameplay. So I'm interested to see what they do. I think it could be done really well. It could be done with absolutely no deference for history and be a really fun game to play, we'll just kind of see.
Well, they got that in Battlefield 1 where they just kind of have conceptualized World War One, but despite the fact that it's all gory and stuff, what I would like to see is the part in the trailer that they had where they have a guy beat a guy to death with a helmet. And I know conceptually that's going to be really hard to put into gameplay, but I think some people out there, me, would like to see that incorporated into the player versus player spectrum. Where
I don't think that would
have
be hard for somebody to do, considering like games like Gears of War have actions like that where you can sit there and fight people with your chainsaw. You just go back and forth with it until one or the other is dead.
Yeah, but to have what I was going with, have more, for lack of a better term, grappling introduced into the gameplay would probably change, the counter knife and the kill all knife perspective a lot more. But then I'd probably be getting more into stuff like ARMA. I don't know. I haven't played ARMA. Have you played ARMA Lee?
I have
I
not.
have. ARMA, I give Nathan shit for having an unpaid part-time job with League of Legends. ARMA's worse.
I haven't played League of Legends in like a month or two. I don't even care about it that much.
Um,
So
it,
stop ripping on me.
but it's a lot of fun. No, the ARMA's one of those where it's so realistic to the point of not being a whole lot of fun, unless your fun is derived from the fact that it's super realistic. Yeah, hooray!
Does it give you knee and back pain at the same time?
Yeah, actually, my claim is in with the VA now.
Anyway, but yeah, recently I got into looking at some kind of off the beaten path World War II knives that I think would be kind of cool if they added a wider variety of melee weapons in Call of Duty. I know it doesn't really fit with the franchise, and everyone else just wants to shoot each other, but I apparently just want to take a table leg club from World War One and rush in with that, which is why, on a side note, I would probably love the new Trench Raider class that they came out with, which is primary weapon is a metal baseball bat with spikes and a pistol and some grenades.
So you're going all Negan on us, aren't you?
It's actually the concept of the Trench Raider looks more of a rogue class. It does not have a bunch of health, so it can't soak up damage a lot. But if you surprise someone and smack them with a bat, it doesn't have the melee animations that the other melee weapons have. So you just kind of like club your way through 5-6 people if you get the drop on them, and run away, deploy your health crate that you have, and hope the French don't find you.
Sorry, I'm just giggling at being afraid of the French.
Yeah, well, it's either French or German in the new expansion pack. So, despite the fact that I'm pretty sure they have some British soldiers in among them, it's like, okay, this doesn't really fit, but okay, who cares? But yeah, they have 4 premium classes. They have the tank hunter with a big gun, the sentry with the carrying the Maxim, the flame trooper, so you can have all sorts of pyrotechnically, and the new Trench Raider, where it's what they added in one of the new maps. So instead of having like a behemoth come in, one of the trains or the blimp, it's these 4 classes, and you get all 4 of them at once, and you get this little squad going, and you spread hate in liquid fire, machine guns, clubs, and a large bolt action rifle that's impossible to carry. I personally would probably take the Trench Raider every single time.
Well, I think those are all specialties to be picked up in In the game, like they've been doing something similar since launch, with basically special kit you can pick up.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's taking all those ones, but putting them in a central location as a group pickup hub.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah, they just added another specialized class and decided to put them all in one place instead of having you have a landlocked railroad car or a ship, which I really haven't seen a lot of ship gameplay in Battlefield 1.
There isn't any.
They have one of the behemoths they have is a warship that can shell the place.
Yeah, but it's not as compared to 4, where they had the amphibious assaults from LPDs off the coast.
Okay.
Actually, that would be kind of cool because there were some like really neat naval raids that were done. That would actually be pretty cool. Especially because they've got what would work perfectly well for a coastal battery.
Yeah.
Already in the game.
One of the greatest things that I saw that I really want to try out is that they do have fixed and sometimes partially mobile artillery in Battlefield 1. And despite the fact that we're not supposed to talk about it, War Thunder, when Nathan and I were playing War Thunder, he was like, tell me if I'm wrong, you want someone in control of the artillery so you didn't have to rely on the computer calculating it for you and be kind of half-assed with it. Don't leave me hanging, Nathan. You're leaving me hanging, okay. But I know me, that at least with the way they have things set up with how you determine where the artillery strike and the mortar strikes go, I would probably be more accurate than the computer would if you just call in a strike. It's not as precise, for lack of a better term, especially if you have your teammates saying, "Hey, I need this here."
So the kind of cool thing in that regard is that they did a really good job of making the vehicles feel special, especially in like the rush game mode in Battlefield 1, because you've only got one, and they're a little harder to kill than in 3 and 4. So it seems to kind of push the tide. As such, things like artillery on the ground are a hell of a lot more important than they were in any previous Battlefield.
That makes sense. Nice historical nod to what it actually was. Except that they don't have the full-on barrage of an area for hours and hours and hours, because that just wouldn't be fun.
Do the whole village?
Yeah. The thing about it, a side point, that I'm really happy, you can now, with the new DLC, just equip as one of your melee weapons the cavalry sword without having to spawn in on the horse or ride the horse.
But I like the horse.
I like the horse too, but I like the saber more. And if I get on the horse, I don't have to get a new saber. But seriously, I was like really giddy about like this. Like, oh, 5 years down the road when I buy this game, I'll be able to run around with a sword or a cutlass kind of thing. I can be land pirate. Awesome.
Oh. I want to be a pirate. Really, a Philippines DLC would be a lot of fun. Sorry, since we're going tangent.
Yeah, realistic. What we could hope for in the next Battlefield game or the next Call of Duty game would be Pacific Theater, maybe.
I think it's going to depend on how Battlefront does, because if Battlefront tanks, I could see Battlefield going, we could make a sci-fi, large scale shooter. Yeah, we can totally do that.
Yeah. All right. I have nothing against sci-fi. One of my favorite shooters that I used to play all the time when I was able was Halo. And it just has to be done right. I'm sure we can all agree. As long as the game is done right in an entertaining way and it doesn't suck, people are going to buy it and it's going to get sales and all sorts of good stuff like that.
Well, since Nathan isn't here, I'm gonna go ahead and agree for him. And
Yeah.
no, it has to be done in a manner that is fun. You know, like nothing else matters. It has to be done in a manner that's fun.
Yeah. Speaking of matters that fun, the new Battlefront 2 stuff has been being leaked like diarrhea. And the whole thing of it is like they said, okay, they have a wider genre, not a genre, wider span of time that they're dealing with. And it includes stuff like the original Battlefront 2, but they're not having galactic conquest or as much space battles as I would like, but because that was like my bag. I literally just spent the last 2 weeks conquering the galaxy with my brother, and that was fun. Why would they get rid of that gameplay?
I really enjoyed the Galactic Conquest. At the same time, I really wish that they would you know, the space stuff is really a lot of fun, and I think they're missing out by not doing anything of the sort. Um, I don't know. We'll see. I really hope that they learn from their lessons and stop with the, oh hey, I'm just gonna play until I get a superhero. Like, no, guys, I don't just want to play until I can be Vader.
I know several people who play until they can just be Kylo, but yeah, one of there were some maps in Battlefront 2 that I absolutely hated, and so I would park whatever capital ship I had. I would park a fleet on top of it, and I would always engage in violent boarding actions. Whoever tried to come and fight me there, and it created this wall of I was going to say Star Destroyers, but the last one was Republic capital ships, and I created a wall of those. I just need three fleets, and I can take over the galaxy. That's it. I put them. I use them as physical walls. Always kill Geonosis first. Make sure the bugs never get to see the light of day again, because I hate fighting in Geonosis. And you can just steamroll over the rest of the maps because we were that good.
Camino was probably my least favorite.
Yeah, Camino is for me, because I was a decent sniper in that game. Camino was not that bad. It wasn't my favorite, but places like Geonosis just terrible for me. And every place where it's like maybe it's a bit iffy, I always deploy a garrison just in case, so I can fight a war of attrition and have more men. Because if I can't capture all the posts and they just keep capping everything, well, at least I can kill more of them than they have me. Which, yeah, that's technically actually our whole point here. Is why is that so much fun? Because it's success. That's why. Yeah, hopefully the new stuff that's coming out will be better, because I'm not gonna lie, I would still play the Call of Duties if I got them, because it's a game. I'll do it. But some things, it's just like, I would feel different about Battlefront if they made 16 other ones for PlayStation, because they made several other ones for like DS and PS Vita. Not PS Vita. Yeah, PS Vita, the PS Portable.
Yeah.
And they were different. They weren't as they had some of the stuff I actually wanted, but I couldn't because I didn't want to buy those things. And I think there's a problem with we're going to make a game. It's going to be successful. It is successful, so we're going to rattle off about 16 little clones of it that get weaker and weaker as you go on. That's, I think, was Call of Duty's problem. That and trying to roll out a game every year.
And that's one of those things that I think that Call of Duty just needs to like slow their roll a little bit, and when they're done, we can revisit the genre, but their need to constantly sell more $80 games. I haven't bought one in quite a while.
Yeah. Well, there's a good example. I don't know how much it actually is going to stay alive because it sounds like it's already dying. But For Honor, I think it was in development for about 8 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And graphically, gameplay-wise, it's fantastic. Visually, it's pretty cool. They have a crapload of in-game purchases that can make the free-to-play life a bit hell, but it looks from a guy who grew up on stuff like Soul Calibur and Street Fighter, it looks fantastic. And it looks fun, but when we had other guests on, they're like, nah, that's too complicated. I don't want to do that. It takes a certain level of skill to play that style of game, and it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of those type of games out there. So it makes it quite odd for Honor to come out, despite the fact that it's up close and gritty and personal of the style of combat that I really like in video games. And it has objectives, so it has something for everybody. But after the initial 1 to 2 months it's been out, I haven't really heard much of anything out of them.
I mean, yeah, like a lot of things, I wish I was surprised.
I'm not really surprised. The head-to-head genre kind of died out after the internet became a thing. I mean, high-speed, consistent internet, because
Yeah.
playing that on dial-up would be a special kind of hell.
Oh, poor StarCraft.
Oh, wow. You know what? I actually, from a rummage sale, I don't know why. I was probably about 6 at the time. I bought a StarCraft box that just was the box and like the manual in it, and poured over that thing for hours. Like, oh man, this is so cool. It's like these cheesy graphics. There wasn't even the game in the box, and let alone if I had it, I probably wouldn't have had a computer powerful enough to play it.
It's so bad. It's so bad. Speaking of thank you, you just reminded me I needed to go download the StarCraft anthology.
So you've gotten 2 to 3 more part-time jobs, I see.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just coming back to the first one. It's like an addict relapsing, man. You just don't question it.
Maybe next time, or maybe a couple times from now, we can talk about all those Warhammer games and strategy games, because
Yeah.
that's the crack that we need to be dealing on the show. Yeah. Anyway, since this episode wasn't really all that planned out and was not a big screw up to the start of a season of a crap show, I'm going to bid you all adieu, and hopefully we'll see you next week, and cool music plays as the lights go down.